I remember when I was studying in the sixth standard in my school, I was the shy kid who would be lost in his own dream world. And I usually never paid attention to what the teacher was teaching. So one time, this teacher saw that and he came up to me. And then he made me stand up and he said, he made an example. So he said, "Look at this boy. People like this make nothing in their life. People like this do nothing in their life. This boy will not accomplish anything. He's not going to do anything worthwhile in this life." Now, for a long time, I used to be bothered by what he said. But eventually, it turned out to be such a blessing that today I have dedicated my life to not doing anything at all. And not just that, I'm also motivating others not to do anything in their lives. But let me explain what I mean by not doing anything. So those of you who have seen other videos on this channel, they are aware of the concept of non-doership. So non-doership basically is a concept that says that individuals are not the doers of actions, but actions happen. Actions happen and their corresponding consequences also happen, but no one is the doer. When we take ourselves to be the doers of actions, we live with guilt and shame for our perceived mistakes, and we live with pride and arrogance for our perceived successes. And both of these cases create suffering in life. So I'm going to quote the Bhagavad Gita on this, where in one of the verses it says, "The ego deluded thinks of itself as the doer of actions. The actions happen through the three gunas, tamas, rajas, and sattva. It is the interplay of the energy of the three gunas." So, the individual thinking that I am doing things creates suffering. Second thing is, non-doership does not mean inactivity. It does not mean passivity. It does not imply that you sit on the couch and just play video games or watch movies every day. But you can do that if you want to. But eventually, your mind will become restless. You will feel a sense of emptiness even doing that, because you haven't exercised the mind. So the mind needs to be exercised. The activity needs to happen, both physical and psychological. But performing the activity with the knowledge that no one is the doer is the inaction in action, which is another verse of Bhagavad Gita, where it says that true wisdom is seeing inaction in action. That means not claiming to be the doer or initiator of actions. Which means that the thinking mind, which is concerned with the outcome, I am doing this activity to become that. I am doing this to achieve certain results, and those results will determine my worth. When I operate with that idea, it is inevitable that I will experience pain and suffering in life. But when I leave the outcome completely, as also the most popular verse of the Bhagavad Gita is there, Karmanyavadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. You have no right over the fruits of actions, because none of the actions are truly your actions. Everything is a happening to no one. And the irony is that most of us think that by putting in more effort, we are going to be happier, we are going to succeed in life. But putting more effort, we become more and more miserable. When we stop putting in the effort, which does not mean we're not working, it simply means we don't concern ourselves with the outcome, with the results, with the fruits, but simply work for the sake of working, simply immerse ourselves into this creative thinking mode where all we are concerned about is the next step that is to be taken in whatever work we are doing, art or anything that we are doing. We are only concerned with what is to be done next. So if, let's say, we are building a bridge, we're only concerned with what is the right material, what are the technicalities, what should be the proportions, the blueprint, the design. All of that is related to the creative thinking. That is all action. But I'm not worried about what will others think of me if I'm not able to build the bridge, or will I be able to build a nice bridge or not? Will I get a promotion? Will I get a raise if I make a good bridge? What will be my future? How I will plan my vacations and this and that. All that is effort. All that is doership. When we are connected to the outcome, that is the resistance, and that also degrades the creative performance. So effort is the obstruction, and non-doing is simply relaxation. It's a state of flow where there is no concern with what the output will be. It's simply impersonal energy doing its job. And the mind-body organism simply realizing that it is only an instrument of execution and nothing more, and that the outcome is not in his or her control. That is freedom. And in that non-doing, actually a lot gets done. But when we try to do something, we exhaust ourselves. We experience burnouts. We experience fatigue, stress. And that stress, that fatigue, it seeps into other areas in our lives. It disrupts our family lives. We're not able to enjoy with our children, with our loved ones, with our partners. We don't feel fulfilled. There is always the sense of lack. Because in our mind we have set something, a goal that is to be achieved, the goal that will help me become better. So non-doership frees you from that notion of becoming better. Whatever you need to become will be taken care of by the impersonal energy, by the universe. It is not your concern. This instrument, the mind-body organism, will only find fulfillment in creative activity, in the work, physical work, psychological work. So you see, most of my time is spent in not doing anything as such, and also motivating others not to do anything.